Hello, I'm here with Nicky Morgan, who is our MP for Loughborough. You have been in Parliament since 2010, but you've been actively involved since 1989. Do you feel the view of women in politics has changed?
Well, when I got involved, Margaret Thatcher was obviously still Prime Minister, so she was a very strong female role model, and she was one of the reasons that I joined the Conservative Party. And I think the view of women being involved in politics has kind of come and gone, while I've been involved. I mean, obviously in the last few years there's been much more emphasis on getting more women into Parliament, which is a great thing, and I think that's really a really welcome change. So I think people would say Margaret Thatcher was a great inspiration, but she didn't necessarily do all she could have done to make sure there were more women in politics, and I think that has now changed.
Very, very true. And you've trained previously as a solicitor before entering politics. Do you think it's important that women have a sort of background away from politics before they enter?
Oh, yeah, very much. And I think actually most women will have a background in politics, more so often than the men, who've often, come straight out of university, gone on being policy wonks, special advisors. Women, if nothing else, often because they've got family responsibilities. So that just gives you a whole new sort of view of the world, I guess, before you actually become an MP. I also think that women take longer to come around to the idea that being an MP is for them. So that again means they've probably gone and done something else first. Because unlike the blokes who always think they can do the job from day one, they will be thinking, well, actually having another career ahead of me, behind me, will help me to be a good MP in the future.
Fantastic. And what 3 words best describe the qualities you need to be an MP?
Well, I think tenacious. I think positive, because you get a lot of knockbacks and you've got to keep going, and perhaps more than one word, but sort of juggler, the ability to juggle lots and lots of competing demands, and that's something I think women are great at.
Fantastic. And you actually stood in Loughborough in 2005, but you were unsuccessful. For all the people that were in the same position, or they are in that now that you were in 2005, what advice would you give them in terms of trying again? Why did you, try again?
Well, because I have wanted to be an MP obviously for a long time, and I liked the local party in Loughborough. They were still are incredibly, nice bunch of people to work with. I like the area, I like the constituents. It's got a real community feel to it. It's a very mixed constituency. We've got the university, we've got rural areas, we've got different ethnic communities, we've got sort of people who've worked in factories for a long time, and all the manufacturing has changed. So I think my advice would be think about, you've got to think about whether you like the area. If you're not enjoying where you stood last time, don't stand there again. Go and find somewhere that's right for you. And I'm a firm believer that there is the right constituencies out there for everybody. So it's a question of finding that, being comfortable there, and also realising that it's going to take time. And you've got to build up links, so you can't do it all overnight. And actually, that's why being a candidate for a while, and then you can fit it in around the rest of your life. And again, I think that's something that we have to do in order to win seats.
Yeah, true. And since you've been in for a year now, what do you think the reality of being an MP actually entails?
Well, it is incredibly hard work. It is the hardest I've ever worked, and I worked as a lawyer in the City of London, doing very long hours in the past. But it's also, a lot of it's under your control, and you get to shape the type of MP that you want to be. Do you want to be somebody who's a really good speaker in the House of Commons? Do you want to be someone who's active on select committee? Do you have a particular burning interest that you really want to pursue here? Do you want to be a minister? So you get to shape your career, and I think in that way it's really more than any other career. It's very much down to you. And there's no rules, there's no way of running things. You can shape it and be the sort of MP you want to be.
Interesting. And finally, if you were able to go back in time to before becoming an MP, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, I think, when I was first selected for Islington South in 2001, and then Loughborough in 2004, and at the time, I thought, right, got to get on with it, got to get into Parliament as quickly as possible. And what's been really encouraging, actually, is looking not just women, but the number of older men and women who have become MPs in the last year, along with me. And I think probably I would say you know, there's no crime in going and doing other things first. Before becoming a, you know, I had another career, but I've always been involved in politics for a long time, and I think you need a mix of people who perhaps have not been as involved in politics. You know, it is a marathon, becoming an MP, being a parliamentary candidate, you know, not a sprint. And I probably would say to myself, you know, do you want to be in politics now, or do you want to wait a bit? You know, I had a son while I was the parliamentary candidate, which also, you know, just to make my life more complicated. And he's great on the campaign trail and you know, everything else, and he loves going out and meeting people. He's incredibly sociable. But you know, there's no harm in enjoying the rest of your life and your family before you get down to the nitty-gritty of being a candidate and an MP.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.